So, Predator, Killer of Killers. So, recently, after I'd finished my review of the TV show Moving, I had then recently, I think 1 or 2 days ago, decided to watch Predator, Killer of Killers. I would fairly say I was pretty excited about this, just because I've always been a huge fan of Predator. My favorite, when I used to play Wild Rift on my phone, my favorite jungler was always Rengar, which is a direct counterpart of the Predator. I've always loved the Predator. I've always loved his aesthetic, everything about him. It just was cool. And I'd watched before this, I had watched the movie Prey with my mom. So safe to say, I was very excited for this film. I was very plus I heard good things about it too, so that also helped a little bit. So I watched it, and gotta say, very solid movie. Very solid movie. It's an animated movie. I think is a very good step, not only for adult animation, because I feel like we don't really get a lot of those besides in TV. So the fact that we're getting an adult animated movie like this is something I'm always going to be down for. I also think this is a very good step in the right direction, not only for the Predator franchise. I feel like this opens more avenues for maybe a animated TV show, or maybe a sequel to this film, or maybe a different kind of whatever it may be. I feel like this is a step in the right direction for Predator. And I also think since this is successful, I'm hoping that they'll make an animated film for Xenomorph, for Alien. Hopefully. Maybe. We'll see what happens. But movie. Okay. It takes place in three separate time periods. First is the Norse era, second is samurais, ninjas, Japan, and then third is like World War I, World War II-ish era. And what I love about the Predators in this film is how different they are from each other, from the three different time periods we see. Each one is very different from the next, not only in how they would look, but how they hunt as well. One of them is a big, hulking, buff guy that has like this, that is missing an arm and replaces it with like this, like Mega Man-esque type of hand cannon that blows shit apart. And then the second one is like this type of decked out, stealthy kind of guy. Tons of different weaponry and tools in his arsenal. The third one is very unorthodox. He's not a on the boots and ground type of predator. He actually hunts from the sky in like this big spaceship and hunts down like aerial targets. It's in this World War II era, fighter planes, that sort of thing. So I like the very unique approach to each of the predators. That's a different that's a lot of variety, because I feel like a lot of the predators from the live action films, they all were, I wouldn't say same, but they were definitely very similar to each other, besides one being bigger than the other or smaller, that type of thing. So the fact that we see various differences between these three predators in this film is really unique. I also like the other human characters. I think they're all great. Well, I don't know if great is the right word, but they're all very good. They're all they're solid, I would say. There's not really a lot of time for each of them, but what we do see of them, it's very good. Or as good as it could be for a short amount of time that we see them. And yeah, I'm not going to spoil the ending. I'm not going to say what the ending is. I think that you guys should watch it yourselves if you want to find that out. What I will say is the animation style. It's very similar to something that we've seen recently with Into the Spider-Verse and then the what was that movie? Oh yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, that sort of thing, with like not in terms of like bright colors, but in like terms of like shell shading and like different 3D models that they use. It's very similar to that. in my opinion at least, not up to that standard quality because, oh my god, the animation is beautiful in those movies, but it's very similar, which also makes the combat more, or at least the action in this show, very dynamic, which I think is a very big which is a very big advantage for animation. You can make a lot of dope action scenes, and combine that with something like Predator, it adds a whole new dynamic, which I think is very cool, and I think is once again a step in the right direction for Predator. A really good step in the right direction. And yeah, there's not really a lot to say, to be honest. There's not really a lot to say about this film. I think it's great. I think if you're a fan of animated films, especially if you're a fan of Predator, I think you should give this a watch. I think this is really cool, and I'm really excited about the future of Predator after watching this. I'm really happy with what I saw. Anyways, see y'all next post.